Hey everyone, this is my friend Raven. We are having a nice day in nature today, and I asked Raven if she would be willing to do an interview with me, kind of sort of like. We're going to talk about the topic of self-worth, self-love, kind of in that area. This is unscripted. I do have notes just for myself, but Raven is just going to be talking off the top of her head. So this is
apparently I have good opinions.
This is beautiful. I love her.
Or good perspectives.
You do. So Raven, you want to tell me how do you define self-worth or self-love or both?
Self-worth. I sometimes I try not to get fixated on it. I think a lot of people strive, and especially in Western culture, we want to portray ourselves as more than what we are. I just think I'm a woman from Texas, and I'm interested in all different types of sciences and history, and I want to do good things with my life. And some of those things might not be deemed worthy, or that's not something valuable to the next person. And what you value in your life, I might not find any value in that. And so I think it all just comes down to trying to live my life as peacefully and in a healthy way, and try not to have a negative impact.
Yeah.
And to me, that is what I don't even want to call it self-worth, just my purpose.
That's your purpose, yeah.
Am I myself? Who is Raven? Am I a collection of all these experiences?
Yeah.
Or am I what God in the Bible says I am to be?
Yeah.
It's kind of a struggle, a push and pull a lot of times for me. But I just find that we only have a certain amount of time on this earth, and I want to enjoy it as much as I can. And if I can influence somebody in a positive way, and even if they're going through a horrible time, if they can see that there's value in that, there's value in some of the bad things that happen to us too.
Yeah.
I think when we go through something traumatic, we tend to let that define our worth. Oh, I was abused, or I did this horrible thing, so therefore I must be a horrible person. And I don't think that that's the case. I think if we can reflect on those things and grow from it, those horrible things, I've grown so much because of the bad, horrible things I've been through. And you might want to ask somebody from maybe somebody that died in a war. Somebody died during the Revolutionary War and they never had kids. They were young and they died. Did they not have any worth? They didn't leave anything behind.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
I am capable of creating things and having these wonderful thoughts, but then at the same time, the molecules that make up me are the same molecules that make up the dirt.
Yeah, the earth. Yeah, we are nature.
We're stardust, and it's just what you make of it.
Yeah.
It's how you view it. It's perspective, honestly.
Yeah.
And my perspective on myself is I'm nothing and everything at the same time.
Nothing and everything at the same time. So it's like a sense of awe and humility all rolled into one. It's like a sunset. You're in awe at it. You're impressed, and you see its value and its worth for what it is. But then, in the grand scheme of the universe,
we're a speck.
Yeah. So you have a really, what sounds to me like a healthy way of perceiving worth and self-worth. You're understanding that worth can be deemed differently depending on the person and their experience, even their culture, how they've been raised. One thing, though, I want to bring out to everyone is the importance of understanding that we have intrinsic value. I think that sometimes we can allow outside evaluations of us, such as grades, our performance at work, just culture, our society in general. We will gauge or evaluate our worth determined on what someone else has established as what worth is. And it sounds like Raven has, through time and maturity, been able to define her own sense of worth and purpose. And that's really good. It's kind of like the individuation process that Carl Jung talks about, how we need to, as we mature in life, we start establishing, those definitions of worth and value. So I really have the opinion that all life is sacred, and everyone's worthy just because they're alive. But as you brought out, how we use our time and our energy is part of that worth. It's part of determining that worth.
For me, and I kind of have to be careful bringing God and the Bible into it, but a lot of it is like, how would God view it? And, everything, a lot of people like to deem bad things and judge those horrible things and deem it as, you're worthless. But I view it as, and I've told Jasmine this, my little metaphor for life is, we look at things like Ted Bundy. Horrible person. I mean, by all accounts, just did some horrible things. But what did we gain from that? Police started to communicate better, and we got into more forensics, and we know more as a society to be aware of people like that. You can't judge a person. He was in college to be a lawyer, and he was in politics and all these things, but he was doing these horrible acts. So when somebody asks me about worth, it's just like, you never know what a person is going through, and you never know where somebody's heart is. And I think that kind of deems worth too, is where is your heart? And not be so quick to judge people.
Yeah.
Who am I to say that I'm worth more than ants or the armadillos that we...
Yeah.
People who are in power, the president. I mean, who are we to deem them more worthy of anything than anybody else?
Yeah.
And it's social construct.
Yeah.
In other parts of the world where they don't have technology and access to water and all these things, and they're happy, it is a balance, because if you're in that awe state and everything's wonderful, people might deem you as naive, and you might be taken advantage of or something like that. And then if you go too far in the other spectrum of like, it is just what it is, it's just dirt, it's just the world, then you kind of fail to see the beauty in everything. So for me, it's just a balance. And I know it's kind of trendy now, the shadow self, and to know your light and your shadow. To me, those people who can balance, I mean, their worth isn't anymore, but they're onto something.
Yeah.
They're living their life how they want to, instead of letting other people dictate how they live their life. So,
like, you're going to be the author of your own story. Sure, other people are going to come in and write that, kind of be co-authors and write that story with you a bit, but you're the main person, the main character, and you're going to be the one that's going to determine what happens.
Yeah, when my last moments on this earth, I doubt it's going to be other people's opinions of me.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more of like, did I take those chances? Did I make the best choices and try to leave some positivity here?
And I think you have. I think it's that growth mindset too. And it's being determined to set our own values, our own worth. Those are really healthy things to do. And not live your life in fear of what other people think about you. And not being dependent on some other person's assessment of you to say, hey, I'm worthy of love today. I deserve to have love. No, you deserve to have love because you are breathing and you exist and you are here. So remember that, like be in the present moment, in the now.
And love yourself.
And love each other.